What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. It's another shop day. We're currently outside the shop because the weather is finally getting nice. We are working on the F350. So I bought this truck from auction with this deck, and as you can tell it's a little rusty. Whatever, don't really care, but it doesn't have a gooseneck hitch. And I priced out a local company putting a gooseneck hitch on this, which I thought was going to be cheap and easy because it's a flat deck. Turns out it's more expensive than just a kit for your box. It was around $3 grand. So by the time you pay for the hitch install, and then I was gonna put some money into powder coating and painting this deck again, which would probably be $1 or $2 grand. I decided just to get a whole nother deck, brand new, with the gooseneck built into it. That came out to $5 grand. So now I'll be able to take this deck off, clean it up a little bit, and probably sell it for a couple grand and have a brand new deck for the price of just the gooseneck. So I actually ordered the deck like months ago and got the wrong deck the first time. It was for a dually. The second deck that got delivered was for a short box. The third one is technically right, but the frame rails are a little too wide, but we're making this one work because I'm sick of the back and forth. So I want to get this on ASAP because that way I can pull the gooseneck. I was hoping to have it long time ago to be able to pull the snowcat with, but here we are, springtime, but need to get it done regardless. So Ryan is here today. He's gonna start by unbolting all the electrical. There's obviously a bunch of bolts everywhere. Get those undone, and then we'll go grab the new deck, bring it down, and see what it's gonna take to put it on. Also a couple other things where while we're here, gonna take the running boards off, and I have a winch mount for the front of this thing, because there's been a few recoveries now that are out of town a couple hours that we've trailered either the Jeep or Marge to, but would have been handy to have a second winch. And especially the couple were just off kind of a main road, so you could haul the Jeep or Marge on the trailer and have the tow truck, or the towing truck, as your second winch. So I think it'll work out pretty good. It's heavy. It's good enough to go minor off-road, and yeah, it'll be kind of a bit of a Swiss Army knife for us. I guess in theory it should just be the tail lights, harness, oh yeah, trailer wiring.
You got tail lights, trailer wiring, backup camera.
Ooh, sensors,
Yep.
which probably just gonna
Backup
do away with
sensors.
those for the new deck because they're annoying.
Yep.
And then you'll just have to figure out
Then deck lights up top there.
the up top lights. So those are auxiliary aftermarket. So those will, who knows? They might go through the deck or they might just drop down into the cab. So, because the
Yeah.
new deck has lights, tail lights, reverse lights built in up there. So I know that they run through, and I'll go to the same harness and then tie into the switches in the truck. So we shall see. And I think the new deck is 2 or 3 inches shorter. So you see this one's over the hitch a little bit, which isn't a big deal, but just makes putting in the hitch a little bit easier.
And I think off of like top of deck to bottom of bar is
Yeah.
quite a bit higher than this one as well.
On the new deck.
Yeah. So we'll pick up a little bit of space there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I was even looking if we ever needed, there's kind of enough space back in here for another winch. We wanted a rear
Yep.
back in there. 'Cause yeah, a little less space here, but enough for a fair lead right there out the back if we ever wanted.
Yep.
And then, yeah, I noticed the new deck has a spot on the headache rack for the spare tire too, if you want to get it out from under there. So yeah, lots of little stuff like this that Ryan will just figure out how to best disconnect it, and we'll go from there. It's the next day. Yesterday, Ryan got the deck totally undone, electrical's undone, and all the bolts are off, so it is technically just sitting there. Used a combination of wrenches, sockets, impact, sawzall, cutting disc, and a torch. But it's off. Well, it's not off, it's undone. It is just sitting there, but it's not going anywhere. So we're going to take it up top and load the new deck on top of this one, bring it down, and then we'll yank the existing deck off with the skid steer or tractor or something, some way we're getting it off. And then we start the hard part of fitting the new deck. So here is the new deck. As you can see, a little flap for the gooseneck ball in there. So Ryan's grabbing the skid steer, the forks, go back into there for the 4x4. And then we'll put the deck up on top of the truck deck that is not attached to the truck anymore. Take the sawhorses, put them up on top, and then we'll probably drop the forks machine on top of there also. Because there's a Kubota down at the shop right now that we'll probably test out, because that's what it's here for. It's here for a bit of a test drive. So we'll see its lifting capabilities. Hopefully don't tip that over, because I think it's probably got less than an hour on it.
But how do I give you advice? Do I turn it to me when I offer advice?
No. You just
zip it?
Yeah. I tip it down. I kept it away from the forks a bit so we could get it a bit more on the truck. So just tip it down a bit. Yeah. Now the big swing. The backs of the tracks are still surprisingly planted on there. Good. And those. Yep. There we are. That's a load. Literally none of it is bolted down, including the deck on the truck. All right.
So just punch it in, just up and over?
It's all Bluetooth strapped.
Yeah.
I got probably 12 Bluetooth straps on there. So got a little Marge here. And then that's just part struck for the limo. Maybe have some fun with that because it still technically runs with a blown head gasket. Tracker, Chevette. Tracker, we got some fun coming up with it. Do its final 4x4 day. That truck, basically just have it for the engine, so we'll definitely jump it and stuff. Limo is still badass. Snowcat didn't get the love it deserved this year, but it's coming, baby. All right, now we just need to make it to the shop. Oh yeah, and that van. If you watched my videos in the fall, I am making that thing drive by RC remote control so that I can hit the car jump going faster than any human would want to drive it, is the goal. Anyways, more physical labor, non-fun work for now. Can also groom the track pretty soon here. So here's the new Kubota track skiddy that we're demoing for the day. I mean, no better way to demo a machine than the type of crap that you do every day, so we'll see how she handles the deck. The Kubota does have the roll-up door instead of open, so you can just run it open, which is kind of nice. And you can get in and out with your boom up, whereas a cat, if it's like 4 inches off the ground, you can't get out the door. Oh, lift sawhorses so far. Oh, that backup beeper's piercing. Handles it well. Yeah, it's amazing how planted the backs of the tracks are still with all that cantilevered out, especially with the headache rack at the front. Okay, tip forward a bit. Okay, now to pull this one off. We can't do the same technique because you can't get in there, so we'll have to go to the side and lift it off with chains, hopefully. All right, forks are on with the hitch dealio for moving trailers. Well, that went a little too smoothly. Kubota did well. Truck's naked, so they're just running deck right up to the top now. So what I thought when I purchased this deck is that it was made for the F350 and there'd be mounting brackets and it would just drop right on, considering it said model specific mounting brackets. Well, as soon as the deck showed up, and I saw just straight frame rails, no holes, no nothing, I realized it was gonna be a bit more of a chore. And then the mounting brackets that showed up were just 6 4-inch wide, 1/2 inch thick, probably 8 or 10 inch long chunks of steel with one giant hole in it that you have to weld to the deck because it's kind of a one size fits all. And then found out that the frame rails of the deck are wider than the frame rails of the truck, and definitely went back and forth there for a little bit. They're 34-inch rails on that. This is a 30 or 42 to the outside. Anyways, whole thing, I still think that this isn't quite the right deck, but we got some different brackets that are just L-shaped 1/2 inch steel. So basically it's gonna be similar to how my old deck was mounted. Crossbar at the front, crossbar at the back, and then instead of little blocks in the middle, we'll have to do a crossbar there because it sits outside of the frame rails, so a block won't catch it. But this is just a all-around nicer deck. Kind of has less of a rig truck look to it. The sides there match kind of the body angle and the lights up top, and obviously the new powder coating and everything. Main thing, the hitch, the gooseneck hitch in there, so I'm excited. All it is under there is just some heavy steel. Looks like, oh, I guess it's 1/2 inch, maybe 3/8. And then some bracing and whatnot. And that's what kind of got me. I planned to just make my own hitch and put it on the old deck, and I could have done it a lot cheaper. But I'm really trying to be less sketchy these days. My dad kind of talked me into it because I guess he's more trying to be less sketchy these days. We've done a lot of years of very sketchy things, but now that, you know, I'm doing this stuff under my business and we're towing goosenecks and insurance and all that, you just know that if anything were to happen, an accident or anything, and they found out that you made the hitch yourself, even if it had nothing to do with the accident, they're always looking for a way to avoid insurance. So instead, spending thousands of dollars, but it will make the whole truck look a lot nicer. And yeah, like I said, a little more of a daily driver rather than a rig truck. So hopefully it pays off. So since we only started at like 2:30 or something, we were doing a bunch of other stuff, editing and burning some stuff earlier. We got a late start. So it's 5:30 right now. So probably just going to get the frame all cleaned up in a way that you never can with a deck or box on there. See all the sand on top of things that you don't even see. So we'll get that all cleaned up and be ready to put the deck on tomorrow. It's another day. Ryan finished getting the truck all washed and everything. Got a fuel pump put in it while the deck was off because that's much easier. So today we are going to put the new deck on the truck for the first time. Ryan's just grabbing the forks. We ran down and grabbed some pieces of steel, crossbar, and some spacer pieces. So we'll take the deck, set it on that, and then we can see what we're working with for the first time. All right, as Ryan monkeys in, that's the benefit of the Kubota. The door goes above so you can get in and out with it up. Anyways, we have to grab it from the top now because we're setting it on the truck, so we can't have the forks underneath. Well, we'll see if this works. Just grabbing it by the gooseneck plate. Perfect. Yeah, there's not a ton of, there's probably 100 or 200 pounds on the heels of the forks. Yeah, 100. All right, we've changed our setup to hang more so that we don't have to get it as perfect with the skid steer. With it hanging, you can kind of shove it side to side or twist it. Got some stability straps for extreme safety. Now let's see what happens. And I'll be stabilizer, swamper man, and camera guy again. Just a hair to the right, if anything. Just like, not much. So I skipped some steps. The truck's in the shop now because, well, we set it on the truck. Everything looked pretty good. It's going to work. So we decided to move it in and use the lift instead of the skid steer now, because now we need to take it off again, grind the powder coat on the deck, put it back on, tack the pieces on, take it back off, fully weld, paint, put it back on. So we just figured that being able to go straight up and down is going to be better for getting it in place every time rather than the skid steer and all over the place. So Ryan's in there grinding on the stuff now, and then we'll get it dropped back in place and all the brackets welded on, or tacked on first. It's another day. We're back in the shop working. Ryan's just getting the truck backed in right now under the deck again. There's a lot of in and out. This time, we're gonna set the deck down, get it perfectly in place, and then tack weld it so that we can lift it up again and I can finish weld it and then drill out all the mounting holes. So by the end of today, this sucker should be on the truck whenever, or in its final resting place. And Ryan, in theory, just pulled the truck straight out without turning the wheel. So he's gonna pull it straight back in without turning the wheel. See how it lines up. All right, so we got it sitting down. There's the big cross piece up front. And then we're doing big 1/2-inch flat bar brackets there. And then the spacer 2-inch square at the back. So we'll get it into place and then I'll tack all those spots so that we can lift it off and final weld it as well as drill. So we took the last hour or so just lining up the little pieces because I need to weld that square tube to the frame, the front square tube to the frame, and then the very large L brackets. So this is our last chance to get everything all lined up and squared up. So those are the big dogs. It's 1/2 inch that are gonna go right there. Can't see anything, but that's all right. All right, it is tacked on there in 6 spots. There's just the one more here, this bracket that we'll weld on when it is fully on there. Because don't want to deal with unbolting all those, and I can get at it easily when it's on. So next step is lifting it back off for the final time, and then I can weld it up above my head, and Ryan can drill all the mounting holes. It'll be mounted by the end of the day. Oversize those a little bit. I like to create a large margin of error. All right, she's all strapped on with her rated straps. Yep. It's clear. This has been a long time coming. All right, it is welded, it is drilled, it has 1 coat of paint. Just gonna throw a 2nd coat of paint on it, and we are dropping this bad boy on the truck. I am very impatient with painting. Oh, as you can tell, runs everywhere. I don't do light enough coats, I just wanna get it done. I am no Robbie Layton. That's all right. Hit her with another, and it'll be a good enough situation. It's the next day once again. We are back working on the deck, which it should be the last day. Ryan went and got some stain for the deck, so we're gonna do that before we put it on, because mainly we can get underneath because these boards are very not treated. So we'll do a coat on that before we drop it on so we can get at it easier. And we got some aluminum that we're gonna put up above the tires for where it sprays whatever, road, salt, gravel, mud, and everything. Should save those boards a bunch. And once that's all done, we can drop it back on, bolt it on, and just the wiring will be left. We went with some bare deck stuff, and it's pretty viscous. It's got grip built into it apparently, so neither of us have used that before, so we'll give it a shot. I'm gonna drill some holes in this and get some screws in. All right, the panels are drilled. Ryan's got a bit on there. Pretty cool stuff so far. There we go. So just above the tire, aluminum and stainless screws. So that should be good for years to come. Doing the top is going to be a whole bunch easier because we don't have all this junk in the way. Underside coat is done good enough. We didn't get tight into there with a brush because it's not painted or coated underneath those anyways. So now we're gonna pull the truck in, drop it down, get it bolted on, and then we can paint the top and get it wired in, which should hopefully be pretty straightforward, although there's a million wires on the truck side. So once again, he pulled straight out without turning the wheel, so we'll see if straight back without turning the wheel lines things up. Because now we gotta be a little more perfect with all the mounts and tabs on there. Inch more. A little more. Yep. That should do it. Alright. So it's got to come a little to the driver's side. Should be able to heave it over with some leverage. We need to scoot the truck over just probably half an inch. So we're just jacking up the rear end to shift it over. Yep. Okay. You have any pressure on that? No. Okay. Yep. Sweet. She's down. So now, in theory, hopefully the holes line up because there's not much adjustment we can do at this point. And then once the rest are bolted, I'll finish welding this rear bit here and it will be secure. Just like that, the deck is mounted for the last time. All the bolts lined up and fit. I welded on the rear. Now I am on to wiring the lights. Ryan's cleaning the deck to put our paint stain, we're unsure, onto it. And this puppy will be back in action. We have definitely skipped a couple steps showing you guys, but that's because it was mostly boring. Ryan got the deck coated in 2 coats. He's just finishing up the gas filler neck up there, which I guess I can show you. We had to fab a little bracket there. Get some light on that beauty. Look at that. Because the deck didn't come with a spot for the filler neck. So that's done. It's got a little bit of fall on it, better than it was before. The only thing not done is the mud flaps, which we'll do those sometime, but yeah, this coating's pretty good. It's got grit in it, dark gray. I got the wiring all done as neat as possible in there, so the lights all work beauty. Rear camera, I made a bracket out of wood for now because it's temporary. That's why this is just hanging here, because I'm gonna fill in these gaps with some probably same checker plate as the headache rack, just to kind of hide all the business under the skirt back there. So I'll fill these holes here and then do a lower piece down there, and then obviously we can mount these things and the camera into the checker plate. That is it for now. We'll pull her out into the sunshine and see how it looks. Ooh, look at those lights. Like a Christmas tree. Yep. Wow. Everything works. That's nice. That took a while to figure out. Is ready to pull goosenecks. That's flashing on camera, not in real life, by the way. Good old LEDs. Ooh, reverse lights up top too. They're brighter in person. That looks good. The gray looks good. It almost looks black, actually. Headache rack matches the curve of the cab. This one is slightly wider by a few inches. Sticks out a bit from the cab, but I like how it matches the side and makes it look like a bit less of a rig truck. Gooseneck hatch there. Yeah, should work pretty good. And then obviously the rub rails with the stake pockets, which the other one didn't have, so it's a new machine. Looks good. Well, the truck is looking much better. It's performing much better because it's now got the gooseneck, so we can haul the gooseneck trailer, which means we can haul the snowcat and the limo with tracks on it. Yeah, we will also be putting the winch in the front of this thing, but that'll be another video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of stuff, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment what you want to see, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.